Go on, my love. I didn't mean to steal you from your gardening for so long.
Gomez, you can't steal what has already been yours.
Yeah, sorry about that. I ended up coming across this clip, and I guess I forgot to put it in my beta. But anyways, back to your schedule introduction. Hello, and welcome back to the conclusion to our very festive first update event, the holidays, for Addams Family back in 2019. This episode is going to be basically opening up our new expansion area that we've done, which is the library. We're going to look into that. We're going to finish off the holidays, going to get all the items and whatnot that's important, and then start the next one, which I believe is like something to do with cars or something. I don't fully know. I mean, we're going to go into it and just figure it out ourselves. And near the end of this, I will also be talking about my overall thoughts when it came to this particular update when it first came out, and my feelings back then with how this how this whole event structure felt. Because moving forward, this is going to be the set standard default, and oh boy, can we not wait until we get to see other stuff here too. Now, with that, I think we can probably just jump right in and see where this takes us. So, let's go ahead and start with our first quest here.
The library will bring a welcome infusion of learning to the mansion.
Learning schmirming. I know how to blow up anything without having to read.
You stay proudly ignorant, Pugs. Meanwhile, I'll be learning new techniques for assassination.
Alright, so Beretta Knowledge, unlock the library. So this was, I think, the last time we've actually had this be done. And I believe we should have been able to get this during the time. So we might be able to unlock it. But I know there is another quest coming up that we'll probably either finish or about to complete. Which I guess will be here, so...
Pugs, are you alright? You didn't get malaria from drinking swamp water again, did you?
I'm okay, Grandma. I'm just worried about my Mazuka performance.
Tell you what, I'll read your fortune so you can relax knowing what's coming.
An explosive vision, have her do that and get an item. So, my bad, it was just a continuation finishing off on the whole Mazuka dancing thing going on up there. So we're going to finish that off as well. So, a lot to finish. Surprisingly, there's not a lot when it comes to the holiday stuff, which is unfortunate because, you know, the whole update's supposed to be this big thing, but yeah, it's mostly just filled up with other stuff within the mansion. So I know, very exciting. Oh, and that happened too, so that's also fun. You gotta love that whole snapping bit when it comes to out of nowhere. Regardless of that, though, let's see here. So, during the recording of this episode, this one coming up here is during the 28th, so Christmas is already passed, so we're getting close to the New Year's stuff, and then just looking at some of the stuff here that we're going to be unlocking in the future. One thing to note is that at the time of now, when I'm recording this, is like within August. I know we've done the meme of Christmas in July, which is unfortunate. I'm sorry for the delays, but the new update has hit when it comes to the Addams, and it's going to be that of a new expansion, which I'm hoping to expand. But this is the animation with her looking for a crystal ball. That's nice. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. With I'm kind of curious to see how that goes, because it seems like as of now, August has been reserved to the family reunion stuff. I can't wait to talk about when that update comes in, because during the family reunion will be during the time when I did my the Shock Street update back in the 2020. And if you don't know from that, there was this interesting what do you call it? This dilemma of me not figuring out how I can just make the phone just fully record everything rather than just having a little bar on the side. So for the first bit on the August one, we're going to see that, and then moving forward will be nice, cleaner looking graphic. I think the problem is when it came to the phone I recorded before, I had to kind of blow up the the screen in order to fit in, whereas the new one is a bit bigger, so I kind of had to squish it in. Because the sad part about it is that the vertical part is a little bit too wide, and because I'm doing this upload for video on YouTube, they have a certain standard, right? They don't go very widescreen, so I know, right? It's convenient for games, but when it comes to stuff like this, not so much. So, I mean, I could do it full screen, but then I would have to put bars at the bottom and the top, which I don't think you'd be interested in looking at, so I'm just going to consume to do this, and the squishing is not too bad when it comes to the other videos, so hopefully that won't be the case here. But yeah, you know, I think the Addams, as far as spookiness goes, I'm kind of... It's interesting how they've kind of went about with the whole series, especially since the whole new movie coming out. I'm kind of curious how that goes, since I think I mentioned in the last video they did the announcement trailer. I'm quite curious to see how well that turns out, because from the trailer alone, it's hard to say anything because, you know, just because trailers. But with the trailer alone, I'm going to assume they've at least listened to the feedback from the first one, because it seems like they're more focusing on with the Addams, and they've changed the voice actor to Pugsley, because I think one of the biggest complaints was the person they had with who voiced Pugsley, if I'm not mistaken, was an actor from Stranger Things, and instead they had another voice actor come in who sounded more like a young boy rather than a weird, awkward, like... And it's weird too, because it looks like the whole thing about the plot, if I can understand, is that both Wednesday and Pugsley are kind of growing up, so they're starting to kind of not want to be like kids anymore and kind of not spend time with the family. So Gomez's whole idea is that, I got it, we'll do a family vacation, so that way we can have one last moment together before, you know, the eventual of them growing up and leaving the whole house and doing whatever they want to do. So there's that. Just from the assuming from the trailer, it might be something totally different, but that's what I got. What's funny about this whole thing too, by the way, is oh, and I finally got that unlocked. So we're gonna take a look into its elf costume and how he does his little animation there. What's interesting, though, sorry, that I was bypassing here. At some point, it's funny that the Twitter, the social media place when it comes to the game, there was like this questionnaire from the last event that kind of popped in. It was just like, oh, tell us what Gomez's job is. And technically, Gomez doesn't really have a job. What he does instead is that it sounds like he's like a businessman and he has certain investors, like stuff in swamps and whatnot. So to me, it sounds like what he is that he's like an investor, like a business, in the sense that he puts money into things and he gets money back. But it's funny, like for example, the whole what do you call it? There was like an episode back in the 60s where a guy wanted to buy the swamp because it turns out there's like oil within the bottom, but he only bought the swamp because it was like, oh, a swamp, Knuckles, there's a nice plot, like, you know, for vacations or whatnot. But the guy really wanted it, so he's like, well, I don't know what you wanted with the swamp, but here you go. Like, it was this, again, they made this whole 60s episode, the first Addams Family show, to be like a comedy. But yeah, as far as things go, Gomez is probably one of the fictional, like I think they said the 16th richest investor as far as when it comes to like fictional characters with money. And this is its little animation when it comes to him doing this. So he's making his own Santa hat. So yeah. Again, it's interesting with these little animation costume things, but for some reason, and the sad part is, not a whole lot of them. And I was just highlighting what would be the only, like, again, like, when it comes to the future stuff, what you'll notice is that when it comes to the cosmetic items, I'm not going to be too much into, like, oh, you can get this, and this is the next item. Instead, I'd be more looking at the new kind of costumes and the actual decorations, because those are really the items you care about. And then they start doing this thing where in order to complete the quest line, you have to get to a certain point within the storyline. This one's more like doing the doing crafting and whatnot. And what's the other thing interesting too, I want to point out, and I know this is avoid this going to the other game that they've recently made, which is the Match Island Tropical Escape game. But when I was talking to them, they said that when it comes to their events, there's going to be two types of events. One of them is going to be mostly the whole, like what you see here, the Battle Pass thing. And that's going to be mostly focusing when it comes to match stuff. However, the other one they want to do is... Oh, weird. Okay, so I don't know if this is a glitch because of the... It might be because he's wearing a different costume and it's just be normal, but I don't know. But yeah, that was Fester doing that. And speaking of Fester, by the way, Fester, I think originally I mentioned that how in the actual original show it was implied that Fester was the uncle to Morticia. However, in the movies, they retconned it so that Fester is now just the brother to, what do you call it? To Gomez. And I did get a comment recently, so I want to correct this. So most of the episodes, like the original 60s was Grandmama, and everything else besides that was the Grandma Frump. And then they ended up in the 90s retconned it so that apparently it was Grandma Frump and then Grandmama was the one who died. But now they've retconned that with the new show where Grandma Frump died and Grandmama's still alive. So, it's just like, oh, okay, whatever. A bunch of stuff. So here's another animation with Lurch, which is him cleaning this. So yeah, there he goes. I remember in the movie that his whole cleaning was just taking the vacuum and blowing the dust all over the place. That's funny. And what's the other sad thing too is that despite, the weird thing too is that despite, the Addams being as popular as it is now, thanks to the 90s, back then it was kind of hard because they were going up against the Munsters who apparently did much better than they did.
What did you see in my future, Grandma? I need to know.
I see an explosive performance in your future. It could mean a great routine or just you blowing up things.
Hey, I mean, it's better either way. Blowing up stuff is always good. Good or bad, I guess.
Places, everyone. It's time to start the Mazuka dance. But where have our swords gone?
I stuck them in your bag so you wouldn't forget them. You're welcome.
You truly are the best niece, Wednesday. Let the dance begin.
Alright, so the Mazuka. So this is where you do the animation scene for that area there. And then I think after this it will be done. Now, you need Parker for that one, by the way. I'm not sure why, but there you go. One thing that's interesting, though, I'm going to summon everyone but Parker for now, unfortunately. So this is what they all do. Interesting. It's I guess more like Fester and Gomez. I think doing it properly. Everyone else is kind of there. I think if anything, the whole Mazuka thing kind of started. I think in the 90s, and like it may have been in the original. Someone can correct me on this. Who is more into the Addams than this old man is, but. I know that in the 90s, when it comes to the actual first show. Not the first show, but the first, the Addams Family movie. They ended up doing the Mazuka there, and that's when kind of like the whole, it's weird, but again, there's a whole bunch of stuff, but yeah. Anyways, let's rewind back. I was talking about certain events. So, apparently from what I understand when it comes to Match Island, there's two different events that they're going to try to do. So one's collecting focus, and the other one's more this kind of focus. I would be interested to see how they would combine that when it comes to within this game, because I feel like they're going to try to fix the whole mechanic, because of, like I said, when it comes to the Battle Pass, you don't really focus on crafting stuff, and I think they're going to change that moving forward. But I think for now they were focusing on getting this new a simulation place pack thing opened up. So once they get that settled in, I think the next stuff is just gonna fix everything else.
How was our Mazuka dance, Morticia?
It was totally depraved. An abomination any sane society would reject.
In other words, everyone was perfect. We keep the Addams family tradition alive in style.
Yeah, and that's like that. We're done with the that whole quest line. So now it's gonna be basically.
Does our library have any forbidden books, Wednesday?
They're all forbidden, Pugs. Knowledge is a dangerous tool. You should stay away from it.
For the first time in my life, I suddenly feel like reading.
That's funny. You just have to say that one thing. Oh, especially some books are cursed. That's also true.
Now that the library's unlocked, it's time to start stocking it with books. Let's start with the classics. Studies on the Bermuda Triangle, beheadings, crossbow ballistics. You know, matters of scientific import and inhumane interests.
Alright, so Inhumane 101. Get some of that stuff to fill in that new room you just unlocked. Now, something funny, though, that you mentioned when it comes to book stuff, is I'm reminded of one of the episodes from Season 2 of The Creep Show, where they decided to bring back the Dead Knights out of nowhere, and I think the creator of the whole Ash vs. the Evil Dead. And what's funny about that was one of the episodes, like, they do this weird PPC programming where it's just like, oh, what did you bring here? And it's like the Book of Dead. Opens it up and then they just turn into Dead Knights, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is just like a fun love letter.
Bugs, since you're following my footstep as a businessman, we should set up operations.
Dad, I haven't decided to do any such.
Great! The first thing as a good businessman needs a solid accounting system.
Alright, no taste of accounting. Alright, so we need to put that down and then we're done. So let's do that then. And see what goes on over here. Yeah, so I think, do I put it in this room or do I put it somewhere else? I think I was putting it in here, so let's do that.
Pugs, you should track all your nefarious deeds. How many bombs have you set off today?
Perhaps there is a useful for accounting after all. I should keep track of my goals.
Very important indeed, Pugsley, so let's see what you need.
My old bedroom used to be over here. Now it's just an empty room. I should mark it in some way so everyone knows it belongs to Pugsley.
You could put up a historical monument, Pugs. You know, to signify the importance.
Alright, historical markers. So, place a flag and a flame floor. Now, I'm not 100% sure if they were stating that the library used to be Pugsley's room, or if it's just something else. Like, they didn't really specify which exactly, but I'm assuming it's going to be the library, since that's the only room that got opened up recently. And that seems like the only quest that we're focusing on now. I love how it's just telling me to do this again, so that's nice. Right, so let's see here. What else can we do? Family desires. We're just going to have that later on. Move on. So, slowly progression when it comes to this stuff here, which is going to be a normal thing. Eventually, though, we should be able to continue on when it comes to the Christmas stuff. Also, very interesting, every time we open it up, it's just like Christmas jingles, which I think it's the Christmas one's the only one that has uniqueness of that kind of sound cue. And, there we go.
This centerpiece looks wonderful, Fester.
I didn't do it by myself, Morticia. Pugsy was the real spark.
Speaking of which, don't light any matches near it until I'm out of the room, okay?
Alright, so we got that going. And just, I love that too, by the way, when you're done with a question, it just zooms in, just fills all that stuff out. A weird, interesting mechanic, though, when it comes to the whole Battle Pass stuff.
Let's make our holiday tree look awful like only we Addams can.
Challenge accepted, Dad. Awful is my middle name.
I was going to make a mean joke about your middle name, Pugsley, but it's the holidays.
Wednesday, you're really getting the holiday spirit. It's so unlike you.
Pugsley Awful Addams. Nice. If only unhappy holidays to you. So this is the final quest, by the way, for this whole thing. I don't think that's really his last middle name. I think it was just more or less the, oh, blank, oh, that's my middle name. You know, that kind of saying that goes. But, again, my kind of humor. What I said when I was interrupted by my own quest line. I think it was something to do with the Battle Pass and just how it kind of fills in there. I think what's interesting about it is that once you fill up all of it up to the 50%, it tells you all the, like, in total what you had to get in order to fill everything up. So as you know, it's like this much percent in order to get to the next level. Once you get to level 50, I think they fill out all of it. So it's like all the things you've gotten thus far. It's like, this is how much it is, right? And I think that's how they kind of did this. So I might be mistaken. Let's just see this here. Yeah, okay, so, alright, we got this stuff going on. So, yeah, it's gonna be cutting some eyeballs, some eyes, decorations. Actually, you know what? Like, they would be like, ooh, spooky and morbid, because you just got these weird body part kind of things and bombs for decorations, but no joke, I think someone can actually decorate this tree. In fact, someone who loves horror and whatnot, they probably would do this just out of nowhere. Like, you know, look at the Nightmare Before Christmas. That's like a Nightmare Before Christmas tree right there. But I'm not sure if that's actually an evergreen tree, or they just basically took a dead tree and just kind of made it festive with that stuff. But yeah, it is what it is. So here we go, adding some more Christmas presents, because why not? We need more presents. What's inside them? Who knows? Who cares? I guess the next big thing is Parker, who unfortunately I won't be able to, like, I will get the costume, but I won't be able to show off the animations or whatnot due to not having her unlocked as of yet. What I will say though is I did see someone else do a little video of what Parker does, and she basically just decorates the tree, and she doesn't really drop anything too special, so it's nothing like I've missed. It's basically like what Morticia's doing here when she's just decorating the tree. But hopefully, I think when it comes to at least up until St. Patrick's Day, I think that's when I show off everything. So just bear with me on that. Yeah, so Valentine's Day is going to be another one because I don't have Parker during that, so it's like another missed opportunity, but what can you do? Anyways, got this going on here. We have a few more boxes to do, which I think we're done with that, so we should be able to finish off with the quest. So, here we go.
Your family's so fun and strange in everything they do, Wednesday. We have our own style of normal, Parker. Let's put it that way. Happy holidays to you, Wednesday. Or should I say unhappy holidays. I think you're starting to get it, Parker.
Hey, first time we actually got to see Parker. We don't really get to fully have her until, like, until March. Update coming up, so, oh well. Yeah, oh well indeed. So let's just see this here. Got this stuff going on. Got collecting all this stuff. And yeah, just like that, Christmas is done. So all I need to do now is just get all the costumes that I could and just finish it off. So I did get everything, because one of the interesting things when it comes to this kind of first battle pass is that you can technically get all the costumes without having to go through the box mechanics in order to do it. Now, another weird thing about this type of mechanic that we'll talk about is that once the event ends, you cannot be able to buy it. There's another mechanic that will come later on down the line that will introduce the way to do it, and not the best way, mind you, but it is a way. But you can get it through buying with your little rubies or ruples. You can actually use that there in order to, let's just see here. Yeah, you can use the rubies in order to buy the rest of the materials off, and how it works is that the more you have, like, each card is worth a value, so the more you have of that, the value gets less in order to buy it fully outright. So at the end of the day, if you really want a costume just to wear or to look, you can do that there, but unfortunately the costumes don't really do anything after the event ends. They're just kind of there. I'm thinking, and I hear that they might fix this issue as soon as this, like, the next thing they're going to fix, as along with the quests or the events. But I just have to wait and see how that goes on. But, yeah, color me intrigued, basically. So, we're about to get Parker's costume real quick. Unfortunately, I don't have Parker to show that off, but, that is what it is. I think I also have gotten a screen grab from someone on, I think, Facebook. I'm not sure where exactly, but they did kind of show off Parker in the costume. And I think eventually when I do unlock Parker, I kind of show off these costumes out. But really, there's no quests to go with them, sadly, so you won't be able to see them. And I think the last few characters... Now here's the other thing too. The last few costumes and characters, I had to buy the other packs. You don't have to buy the other packs, but in order to get Lurch's costume, you do. And this is one of those monetization things that they ended up going along with, because it's one of those you have to get incentivized to do it. Now, do you need Lurch's costume? No, you really don't. I got the, by the way, I got that Parker stuff now. So, really, you don't need Lurch because he doesn't really drop anything unique. But it's one of those, if you're a completionist, yeah, you do have to buy the packs, which is sucking very much. But, anyways, we got this stuff going on here. And, put this down. So, let's just see this. So, got this going on. And I'm going to put some chairs here, so we can finish off the quest, that one of the quests anyways, though we don't have, I don't think I have enough yet to kind of do this just yet, so yeah, I just ran out, so almost close to getting it, so we're gonna be there soon. And the first pack I ended up getting was this right here, the Platinum pack. I think this was the cheaper one, which is the second one. And it comes with its own Christmas tree, so I have two now. Which is unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. Gotta do this. And we hear Santa Claus in the background doing his ho-ho-hos. Yeah, so now the next thing is basically going to get for the premium one. Yep, and there's the premium. Goodbye, money! Well, you get this unique looking costume for the car. And this car in particular will become interesting when it comes to next Christmas. Hopefully when we get to there I will remember. I might mention it. But yeah, this is the for this year's costume here. I think this car does come back in the holidays 2020. However, I think it also comes with a unique skin that goes alongside it. But yeah, this one it's interesting how they kind of made it look decked out with this theme. So, I'll give it that. And now, because I got all the stuff, I can unlock Lurch's costume. So I think with that, we should have all the costumes now for all the characters. So, we'll be able to show off the last three characters' animation, which is Lurch's... if you buy Lurch's costume, you know, what does it look like and all that. And my god, we have a lot of boxes to unbox just because of the fact that I ended up doing this. And I think one of the other interesting things I think they started to do when it comes to these bundles is that they allow you... Oh, and I got that too, so that's nice. No, so that I had to do that again. One of the things they did was they added the event currency to order progress through the bar in the bundles. So if you buy one, you just kind of... It's in a weird... It's hard to say because usually you look at pay to win as a sense of this kind of like you'd be able to get an advantage over other people. But I feel like there's no real like incentive like, oh, you're first place, you get this thing. But there is a mechanic to get, like, pay basically goes faster in the sense of that nature. So, again, you could technically play through this event without having to get everything, but the gold pass is one of those you need to get this, which is unfortunate. That's how they get you. It's just like, well, we can at least incentivize you to do the gold pass at least, right? In order to get everything. Because other than that, you're just kind of like getting a few common things, and the costumes you're basically just having to rely on the boxes, which you're more likely to get some costumes, but not all of them. Which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So we got this going on here. So we got that. And now it's just filling up the bar up to the end. Now what's interesting is that part of in the quest here, there are Gomez's and Fester's costumes in the prize pool, and that's about it. And previously, there used to be nothing, after a certain point, there was nothing for a freemium player to kind of progress into in order to get a prize. They've changed that so that now there's like one final prize at level 50, but you don't get anything after a certain point. Like after you get to the event-specific end quest item, then that's it. Which is, you know, and I think at the end, when it comes to some of these items, I ended up just getting rid of them. Now, some of them were wanting to keep them just because it's like, oh, a memory of whatever. But I think because of me, since I've recorded all of these stuff, it's like, well, I don't really need these because they're not... There's going to be wasting space, so I've just kind of got rid of them on this side. Usually, which is interesting because... I think this game kind of plays with the whole Snoopy angle, where it's like, oh, it'll bring these items back, but they never really do. So I think they're going to try to do it like how Goosebumps does it, where as soon as an event ends, they're going to just take that stuff away. Which I'm not going to be surprised over, since they don't really use that item for anything. But eventually I do get enough cash. So let's just go ahead and finish this off here. I've gotten a lot of cash before, but anyways.
What are you reading Wednesday?
How to account for the effects of wind on crossbow bolts.
Great! I'll be proud of you if you can hit me square at 60 paces on a windy day.
That reminds me from the movie. Hey! Nice shot!
You can't have a place of learning without studying nature, Wednesday.
Fair warning. If a plant tries to bite me, I'll bite them back.
Alright, seeds of learning. Plant some plants. And, yeah. More of, like, Morticia's more of the gardening type. And, it's interesting. When Wednesday, I think... I'm trying to think with her, because she seems more in the macabre. Like, I could see her working in some sort of funeral, or a, what do we call it?
These signs will remind everyone that this used to be my room.
And the flamethrower?
That's to incinerate anyone who dares to trespass.
Now, originally that was supposed to be put into a room that isn't Pugsley's room, but I decided to go, nah, let's put it in Pugsley's room, so that now it makes no sense. This used to be my room, despite it being my room now. You know, ignore my dumbness over here, my little monkey brain. Planting some plants inside the plant room and not in the library because reasons. Because why not? I remember getting this. I remember that room being locked for the longest time, and then one.
Look, Dracania is bending to look at the books you're reading Wednesday.
If she likes reading about beheading, perhaps we have more in common than I thought.
Wednesday, you may have planted seeds of learning with my plants.
It's for the longest time, and then it's just like for nothing.
The library room is about more than reading.
It's also a place where families can share unhappy moments together.
Like when I got the baby brother and no longer had the undying attention of my parents.
No, the good kind of unhappy moments. Like those involving dangerous accidents.
I feel like something momentous is about to take place. Like an uncurable plague? Or a tragic natural disaster?
Well, when the Addams family gets together, it could easily end up like that.
And we're done all that because good kind of unhappiness, which is just basically uncover the scene, which I think I did. I think one of them is also play the scene, which is already something I've done before, but I think with that, you would have to do it anyways again. So I think this was just more or less just because I've uncovered it before. It's like already completing it. So now it's basically Wednesday. I have to wait for the quest, but she's currently doing something to help with the progression of the stuff. Anyways, so this is Gomez's costume, and he does this. So this is the only big item that you should get, like, should have gotten during this quest, because he does drop you the final end prize quest item. And reason why that's big is because those usually drop the most as far as things go. And yeah, this is Lurch's animation. Yeah, it's just like in the preview section. Not too great when it comes to this. This is just like, oh yeah, that's a thing. Yep, there it is. Pretty fun. Yep, that was well worth it indeed. Well worth the money. But again, I invest so you don't have to. So you didn't have to. So now you get to know what you missed out if you were the one of the unlucky few who didn't get to play this. But, yeah, so we got this going on here. So, we got the station. Let's see here. Alright, so practice Addams Shores. So Fester's done with that, so now I can finally show you the last of the items, cool costumes, which is this one here. Which is like the previous one, except there's one difference where it actually blows up. So he does it like he does in the preview, except, you know, boom. And then of course he drops that type of that thing. So, you know, yeah. So after 39, that's basically it for freemium stuff. After that, it just moves on. Gomez is frozen. I'm not sure why, but that's a thing. So yeah, that's the final prize. I think by this point we're in November, like we're in the new year already, and this is the 11th, and during this time, so the new year of 2020. So yeah, it's interesting. This thing's ending soon, and I think at some point I ended up actually using my there's an option where for 5 or 50 of the rubies, you're allowed to continue on forward. And yeah, so let's just go ahead here. Just see this. I'll do that. And yeah, so we're just gonna keep on doing this, and hopefully slowly but surely be done with this video, and then kind of do my final thoughts and go from there. Alright, so we got that going, and just a few more, and I'm gonna have to, I think I do actually end up buying through it near the end, but that's going to be for later. But we're gonna be focusing our time with the quest.
There's nothing like a good library book about grave robbing and murderous spirits.
Care Mia, the library isn't for reading. It's a place where cares can be massaged away.
You're both wrong. The library's for snacking on worms. Bookworms, to be precise.
Alright, don't be quiet in the library. So this is the whole do the scene for everyone here. I think I did show off what they all look like when they're doing it, so it's not going to be too important. Oh yeah, that's the other thing too. Apparently the Christmas tree does drop an item. I think the difference is that item drops every so often. And I think for this one you do need to get the book here. So yeah, so this is what they all look like doing this. So yeah, it looks like Pugsley's doing the whole "you've sunk my battleship" animation. And after this we should finish off with the quest here.
Pugsley, if you're trying to blow up your uncle, you better not miss. Because you'll be angry and come after me?
Because your mother and I will be very disappointed if you don't succeed in your goals.
Alright, so we're done with that. So, got the Millionaire Pack, and now we're going to continue on with the thing.
Sometimes I worry we'll never restore the mansion to its former dreary, rundown state.
Keep hopelessness alive, Mother. I have faith in you.
Wednesday, you're a daughter any improper mother would die to have.
Did you say you wanted to die for me, Mother? I'd be happy to help you with that.
Dreary decorating. So, got the fancy table already, so we just need this weird thing here. And then we'll be done, and then we can move on to the next new level. And that will be, like, again, we're coming close to the end, so don't worry. There's a reason why this whole thing's for 3 quests, despite it not really all being the holidays, so.
The pentagonal table is a nice touch, Mother. It's very witchy.
But of course, even witches need a table to work from.
Alright, so we got that done, and with that, a limousine pack. Yeah, so this has all the items here, and weird too, because I think the unique car is that one that ended up getting the decorations on. Kinda. Yeah, it kinda is anyways. So yeah, we got level 13 now. And starts a new quest line, which unlocks a new area. And what's also interesting is that we're going to go look more into the new area once we start the new update, the limousine. Which is weird because it's not really a limousine, it's just more space, I guess, to put cars on. It's weird, but I guess whatever, you call it...
Tell me about Dad's youth, Uncle Fester. Back when he was still interesting.
Your father was quite a car collector back in the day, Pugsley. His collection was famous. Every woman wanted to be with him, and every man wanted to be him.
Are you sure this is Dad you're talking about?
Name whatever it wants. Car talk. Unlock the limousine zone. It's still weird what you call it that, but again, like I said, whatever.
In this room, we wanted a certain ambience to encourage conversation.
I find truth serum is a great way to encourage honest conversation.
Wednesday. The Addams would never resort to such a thing. Shame on you. We do torture the old-fashioned way, with pillars, racks, and thumb screws.
Alright, having guests can be torture, which is basically add a sofa. And the reasoning why add a sofa? Well, there's a reasoning to that in the quest line, in the dialogue. So this is their reasoning.
Are you sure you want a boring sofa here instead of a torture rack, Mother?
This is for the first impressions. Torture devices are for after we really get to know people.
Yeah, so that's their incentive, is like, yes, we'll just do this just to lure them in. And then once they get nice and comfortable, then that's when we throw in the traps. Well, at least they kind of know themselves, huh? So anyways, here's the last piece of dialogue, and from that we'll just continue on with talking without interruptions.
This is a laser, Pugsley. It transmits lights and heat in a narrow, concentrated beam.
Heat. Like enough to start a fire.
Certainly. As long as there's enough power, you could easily set something on fire.
Wow, I never knew science could be so interesting.
Alright, laser focus. Get the laser and get some dynamite. Or either craft or... I think it's crafting. Yeah. Craft or sell. Either or, it's the same thing. Do stuff. Unlock stuff. Play the game. Do the mechanics. Which is weird because when it comes to these special events, these mechanics really don't mean anything. Yeah, so, like, again, we're really kind of end the Christmas stuff because... literally, it's almost done anyways, and we're already into the new year. Halfway in the new year already, and we're still with this stuff. I think it's because it started late anyways, but, you know, they stopped... They ended up changing that at some point, so, you know, it's... They fix it, but still having certain things. Whatever. So, yeah, so I think at some point I ended up just kind of going, yeah, we're going to have to buy all this stuff because I've kind of been wasting my time, focusing my attention on the other games I've been doing. So, I think at some point, I'm not sure when exactly this happens, but it's going to happen at some point. Yeah, so this is just me showing off the last Adam that we didn't get to show off, which is Gomez, so this is what he does. Yep. Getting nice and comfy. Yep, he's trying to relax and he starts sliding. This is one of the Grandma's quests, which is just her exploring the pit. I guess I was showing this off because I think at some point I didn't actually get to show this, so I kind of did it here. Oh, the other weird thing too I didn't realize is that the decoration over there, the gazebo, the snowy one, drops an eyeball, so that also drops stuff. Interesting. The more you know. Anyways, selling more decorations so I can hopefully progress. And we're getting to the 13th now. So 13th of 2020. And the only reason I know this for such a long time is because my recordings actually put a time, date, and time when this whole thing was going on. So at least I can go, I know when this happened. so I'm not too in the dark. Though my newer phone does it differently, so it's kind of hard to determine when that takes place. But yeah, literally we're almost within hours before the thing ends. So I think at this point is when I kind of decide to go, well, you know what, we're almost done anyway, so I guess I'm going to have to buy my way. Which, like anything when it comes to these mobile games, that's the true meaning of it, right? You just got to do this. So I think at some point I just started to kind of get any boxes I can just to see how far I can get in the bar, and then afterwards it was just simply just going through all the way to the end to get the final prize, which is this, and to get these last two items over here. Now what's interesting is that I think the next update introduced a new mechanic into the game, which will then change. Yeah, so I'm just buying all this stuff now, so this is how that works, right? And just like that, we're done. I don't know why this glitched out here, but we've completed. And if you see on the top here, that's how much you had to get in order to get all of them. So we got that going on. And, yeah, so you would think that this would change the fireplace, but no, it does not. And then you might be thinking, oh, wait, how come the thing didn't show up? Well, I have to go back here. Now it says it's complete, right? So, yeah, for some reason, this was kind of glitchy near the end, me doing this. But, okay, now I got it, right? So you'd think that this would replace, like, this would be a costume for it, right? But no, the costumes come out later on. And you can tell this was meant to be a costume, because if you see, it lines up perfectly with this. But, yeah, it's its own separate item. So this is the grand prize, everybody. If you've gotten yourself paid, this is what you get for the final one. It's this nice looking centerpiece, I guess. It's sad that this wasn't into a skin. In fact, so far this has not been a skin. So I figured, you know what? Since we've unlocked this library room, this is going to be the honor room. This is where this is going to be now. And I think we should get the other prize we ended up getting, which was this horse carriage, this spooky one over here. Yeah, this one here, with the skeleton horses, or oh no, not horses, the reindeer. And I guess the only appropriate thing is to put it outside. And with this, I think that's it. I think we're done with this quest line and with this update in general. And the next video is going to be back into when the snow is all gone. And the other thing about that is going to be, yeah, so I guess put it there for now. So, yeah, it's kind of blocking. I think I did move it at the end of the day, so we get to see that a bit more in the future. But, yeah, that's it. That's it for the holidays. That will be done. And this is the screen grab I talked about before with the whole Parker. This is how she looks in her costume. But then again, during the videos in the future, I will be showing that off, so you get to see up close what that looks like. But yeah, that's it. That is the Addams Family Holidays special, whatever you like to call it. Our first ever event when it comes to these Battle Pass features. Overall, this whole update thing, it felt like it was kind of like a let's see how it works kind of deal and play it out. And you know, it's pretty okay for what it was offering, especially the prices weren't too bad. And as you'll see in the next updates, how when I say you're looking at the holidays as if it's good or not, it's the template one, because moving forward is when you're going to start seeing some of the problems with it and some of the issues when it comes to this whole thing. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, whatever you call it, if you were watching this during the holiday festivities, and I hope you enjoyed the holidays. If you're watching this not during the holidays, well, hopefully you enjoy whatever it is you're doing. And until then, I guess I'm Grim, and I'll be seeing you next time with whatever the Mystery Mansion has in store. So until then, happy holidays.